No secret, half of Amazon's HQ2 seems coming to Nova. It probably is a decent bet. No confirmation from Amazon, but the most recent denial was pretty weak. If it's a yes, that can mean up to 25,000 jobs here and maybe in Queens, New York as well. If it does happen, where are those families and their workers going to live? Well, we have a DC housing expert and a principal at McWilliam Ballard's Condo Nest team. Timur Loynab joins us with that aspect of this big story, and it's one I think that's very interesting because in our reporting, we've been talking to some folks in the Crystal City area who are saying already the speculation has begun. People are starting to buy up the available, the condos and the apartments and things like that in anticipation of this happening. What's it doing to the market?
Well, the speculation has absolutely begun, and there is nothing like a sense of urgency in the real estate market, and that is what it has sparked at this even very early, still speculative stage.
Yeah, and that's it too. You're taking a real flyer on this thing, because if they all of a sudden to say, well, we were thinking about it, but now maybe we've decided that Dallas was a better bet or something like that, then you're stuck with whatever you've got. But it sort of begs the question: if that's where it's going,
yes,
who does that benefit? Where are the hot neighborhoods going to suddenly become?
Certainly, you know, the concentration of people will be moving in and residing in Arlington County. So the biggest boon really is for Arlington County, for Crystal City, Roslyn, Clarendon, Ballston, Courthouse. They stand to see double-digit appreciation rates in the next 5 years.
And that hasn't exactly been a backwater to begin with.
It is not.
Those are places where some of the very most expensive neighborhoods exist right now.
Absolutely, and we should keep in mind that really the boon will be Arlington County if it in fact comes to Crystal City, which consensus
Seems
agrees
to be, yeah.
will be the spot. But it will in fact have a ripple effect for the entire region. So the news for the entire region is positive because we will see appreciation rates throughout. It will just be slightly more modest growth beyond Arlington County.
One of the things that has been sort of a break on the housing market in the Washington area is there simply isn't much what you folks refer to as inventory.
Correct.
People are hanging on to their houses because they're worth more now and might cost more to replace them. So what is that? That seems to me that that's an inflating factor right there.
That's a big part of this story. I mean, we've had for the last several years, several market cycles, a supply and demand dynamic where you have low supply, high demand, and hence booming prices, right? Year in and year out, you see prices continuing to go up and up. And if that continues, if there is still a shortage or an anticipated shortage, that will only exacerbate that situation.
Arlington County has a lot of single-family homes in it, but are we also talking about multifamily, the condominium buildings, apartment buildings,
yes,
that sort of a thing?
I think the gauntlet has been thrown for the development community. I think you will be seeing a lot more development in the pipeline in the next several years to come.
Even more cranes than we see now.
Absolutely.
On the skyline?
Start counting the crane activity. Yes, absolutely. You'll see many more cranes out there.
Timur Loynab, with a really good perspective on what's going on here. And one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this is we may get this announcement here any time now. So
I think it's coming. It certainly is. And I think the other thing, Dave, to keep in mind is it's not, the story starts with Amazon, but it's not the whole story. Inherently, if and when Amazon arrives, there will be a slew of other companies that will be coming with it, that Amazon will attract. Not only Amazon's established competitors, but burgeoning startups and everything else that comes along with it. On a micro scale, many of your viewers can probably relate. If you've got an anchor retail store that comes to any given neighborhood, say a Whole Foods, for example, and we know how transformative that can be in terms of the residential, commercial development, all of the other smaller retail operations that come. This is that on a much larger scale, on a much larger scope.
There's something to think about. Amazon as Whole Foods. But
That's
I
right.
take your analogy.
Right.
That's very well done. Thank you so much for joining
My
us
pleasure.
this time. Be right back.